Alright guys and gals, back at it on our 2002 GMC Envoy. Basically I've got things are shifting in the four-wheel drive, but it's falling out of four-wheel drive. And I do have a code, C0327, Encoder circuit malfunction. It's not too specific. Okay, so I'm in two-wheel drive for sure. So the switch thinks we're in four-wheel drive, but it's not. I do know that the four-wheel drive works, like the transfer case mechanically works, because last night I was in this mode and let me zoom out here, guys, sorry. I was in this mode, and if I'll back up, oh, I'm getting some brake noise. Yeah, I just realized I got brake noise too on this damn thing. Anyhow, it's in two-wheel drive. Nothing's working. It is making noise. Okay, and I think 4-low actually does work, yeah. Or at least two-wheel drive 4-low. That's kind of weird. It seemed like it was actually working, but just two-wheel drive. So anyways, I'm gonna figure out what's going on. I hope it's not a transfer case issue. Brake squeak is annoying. All right, guys. Anyways, we've got no four-wheel drive. I've got to figure it out. Let's do it. We do have multiple codes right now, but those are some other stuff too. All right. I got to get all this water cleaned up. Get my squeegee out, get all this water out of here, pull it back in, and I'm going to put it on four jacks so I can physically see what the tires are doing. Again, I'm not sure what's going on. I hope the transfer case hasn't grenaded or whatever, but all right, let's get her done. All right, y'all, I made some progress on this thing. I did get it up on 4 jack stands very carefully, very solidly. Anytime you do something like this, you want to shake it laterally and back and forth, make sure it's super solid, and then obviously be careful and just know that if it falls over like Ferris Bueller, it's gonna cause some damage. I do leave the floor jack just where I last left, just as an additional. I checked all the wiring underneath here. Let's take a quick look here. I'm not quite ready. I'll do that in the next segment, actually. I went to the parts store. I went ahead and got a wheel bearing because that's one of the issues that I've been dealing with this thing. I might make a quick snippet video on that, probably separately, actually, because there's a cool way to diagnose those, because sometimes it's confusing on which side it is. That goes with that. This is the new encoder motor, they call it. It's the motor that basically moves and shifts the T-case where it's supposed to go. I think the sensor has gone bad in my original, and so it just doesn't know where it is, because I'm not quite sure why it's doing what it's doing, because it seemed to have four low was engaged in that last segment, but it was only in the rear, so that kind of scared me. But the other night I did verify that the mechanical portion of the transfer case does work, because when it is in four-wheel drive, everything works great. It's not popping or slipping, so I'm hoping that it's not some weird transfer case clutch thing and, you know, whatever it is. So I got the encoder motor just to try out to see if that fixes the problem, because I wasn't able to verify anything else. We've got some transfer case fluid here. This is the kind that I found that is good for GM AutoTrack 2 applications, which this model is. It takes 1.9 quarts. I've got 3 just in case. And then What I'll show you next underneath is I did look at all the wiring and the harnesses, make sure there's no obvious breakages. We replaced the transfer case control module a few years ago when my dad still owned this. And so I know that's been replaced because that is an issue that comes up. I know the switch works because it's actually switching during through things. And the code itself is a encoder motor sensor, which can be different things, but I'm hoping again that while the motor might work in the original one, I think the sensor is bad, and so I don't know, I'm not quite sure how it's losing, mechanical connection with four-wheel drive. That's the one part that worries me. So I'm hoping it's in this unit here and it's seizing up or doing whatever it is. But that is the Dorman part number that you saw. 600-903, and this model here is a 2002 GMC Envoy with the 226 transfer case. I'll do a video of that in the next segment and show you which actual T case I'm working on. It's pretty important to keep the fluid changed regularly on any sort of transfer case that involves an automatic feature where it senses slippage and it so there's clutches in the T case, and so you've got to have fluid with really good additives to work with those clutches, or else you're just going to burn up the T case. And again, like I said, I'm hoping that wasn't the case. So I am going to change the fluid. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I might install this first just to see because if I do them both at once, I may not know. I don't think a fluid change is going to fix my problem. I don't think, really. But you never know. So either way, before the end of the weekend, we're going to get this T-case fluid in there. I'm going to try to clean up. I got just projects on projects. This is another video that you'll see. It's my Subaru. I've got the 2.5 liter EJ25D, the dual overhead cam. Got it out of the vehicle. I'm doing a clutch, head gaskets. This is out of necessity. This is actually my daily driver, and it finally went kaput. So I've got parts and pieces hanging out everywhere. All kinds of crap on the fringes, including Christmas gear from this. This is being recorded February 24th, 2024. 24th on the 24th. Anyways, I'm going to get to work. The next shot you should see is underneath the T case. Again, I'm just going to go with replacing the motor first, because when I first pulled it in, I got it up on jacks, put it in four-wheel drive. Everything worked great. By the way, this is really, I was going to record it, but I've got a squeaky brake. One of the wear indicators is just, so it's absolutely terrible. But I was able to verify that after a while, something happened and the four-wheel drive didn't work. Because these were just kind of freewheeling. So I don't know, guys. I really don't know, and you can hear that. Oof. Anyway, so we'll get it figured out, and I gotta get this thing four-wheel drive. Winter is not over. All right, y'all. We are back at the T case here. What I did do is I unhooked the whole entire harness, including the O2 sensor back here. There's two sensors up here, some sort of sensor here. There's the motor, and there's another. I think that's about it. Anyway, just wanted to inspect the wiring. As you can see, I'm gonna relume it as we get a fix figured out. From what I can tell, seems making weird noises. I think it's original. It might not be. It probably isn't, but I've got it loose, and it's all the bolts are loose, and it's not even budging. So I'm gonna buzz off all the bolts, and I'm not gonna record it. I'm gonna put my phone down for that. I got my air ratchet here, and then I did break them all loose, like I said. I don't know why I'm talking like an Oklahoman here, but I'm gonna throw this I'm actually gonna hook this old one up and try to get a visual on the movement. So we'll look at that. So here we go. Alright, y'all, just a little update on the Envoy. I did shoot a video that I don't think I'm gonna add because it ended up being just a terrible video of me trying to figure out what was going on. But on my original transfer case, the one that's in the vehicle, this is a used unit that we found here in town. The shaft that encoder motor spins had a lot of free play, and you could tell something was broken inside there. So I think that's been the issue all along. I'm hoping that I didn't break it when I got the old motor off. I did tap on the motor. I don't think it was enough to break anything, but what I do know is down the road in four-wheel drive, the transfer case did make a whirring noise, sort of like a bearing just starting to go out. I talked to the guy here in town, local gear guy, and he said the apply bearings on these will make that noise because it does use a set of clutches to shift because it has that automatic four-wheel drive feature, and so there's some stuff in there. Anyway, this unit is out of a wrecked Trailblazer. It looks good internally. I'm going to change the rear seal. I'm cleaning it up right now and getting all the gunk off of it, most of it at least, so I can handle it without getting super dirty. As you can see, it came with all the sensors, even part of the wiring harness. The main wiring harness came with it as well. As you can see right here, just laying there, and then there were bolts that came with it too. So I'm hoping that the original encoder motor still actually works. If it doesn't, I'll pick up another new one. And then other than that, if it still doesn't work, I might have an issue with my front differential locking up, engaging when this thing engages. But it did have four-wheel drive, so I don't think that's the case. Hoping that's not the case, because I did have that encoder motor code. So again, I think there's just an issue with that shaft all along. Anyway, just wanted to do a quick update. I will film this weekend. As you'll see this next segment, getting it back, the Envoy back up in the air, because we were able to just keep it driving in two-wheel drive for the last week. And then we got this locally in town for $595. There was one in Washington for $750, so at least we got somewhat of a deal. And then basically gonna spend Saturday pulling, hopefully Friday night, pulling most of the old one out, putting this one in, hoping it works. And then also what we'll be doing is the wheel bearing on the driver's side, which is making noise. I did find some AutoTrack tube fluid. I did get Valvoline transfer case fluid that did work, but this I got on Amazon and it was like $8 cheaper a quart, so whatever. And then of course the Subaru, that's another video. That thing is still, I had to switch gears, no pun intended, to my wife's four-wheel drive because it's still winter time here and it wasn't working. So, but I'll be back on this thing soon, getting it running. I really miss that thing, driving it around. And I also have a fan clutch in the back of the Jeep. I'll film this same vehicle. The O2 Envoy has the fan clutch. The fan is just whirring like a jet, and so it's setting a code as well. So I got that part to do. Anyway, sorry guys. You're like on and on and on, but you get on with it. But let's get this transfer case in. All right, y'all, we got her all cleaned up. I did several degreaser, brake clean, parts brush type stuff. Got her all cleaned up and got her on this trolley here to help move things around. I am ready to get it in the vehicle. I will pick up a new adapter gasket, as well as a rear seal like I mentioned. And then here's our fan clutch that's going on it. So we've got a full litany of parts to install. I cleaned up a little bit in here. Kind of got everything situated. I think I showed that in the last video, but basically was working on this and it's looking pretty darn good. So feeling good about it. Over now. All right, gang, we are back at it with the Envoy. I'm not sure how all these segments are going to work together in the video, but last week I ran out of time to get the T-case in, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time just in case I had to put the other one back in case something's wrong with this used one or whatever. So that was last weekend. We did get the brakes and the wheel bearings done. That's perfect. And here is our setup here. We've got AutoTrack 2 fluid. We've got the adapter gasket for between the transmission adapter to T-case. We've got our new rear seal, which I remember already sharing this in the past videos, so this is really repetitive. So I'm gonna obviously get underneath it, get it jacked up, basically drain the old T-case fluid and get the drive shafts out. That's kind of my goal for the night. Maybe I'll start in on the cross member, but we'll see. We'll see how much. It's Friday night. Obviously that's not a lot, but it's been a super long day, long week, and I do have to get up pretty early tomorrow, so we'll just see how much I can get done. Let's get after it. All right, y'all, got her up in the air. Whoops. Try to lower it down here. And it's kind of sketchy at first. I probably should have the front jacks a little bit wider. And then take this off here. And then you can sort of see the backs. I just got them in the lower shock mount. But yeah, we're gonna get to work. I'm gonna get the floor cleaned up underneath it and then start pulling some drive shafts. All right, guys and gals, we're gonna start by draining the T-case fluid. Oops. Of course, I need an extension. All right. Okay. Got my extendo. That's what's good and tight, as they say. I'm gonna open this one up just to help Z. It does have a breather. I really don't need to do this, so I'll just do this. Let me be smarter. Let me be smarter. Smarter, not Sparta. Alright, whoop, there we go. And the fluid looks absolutely horrible. If I would have changed this years ago, guys, I said this before, I can smell something. Clutch material, probably. I should have changed this every single year. If I would have done that, I probably wouldn't have any issues. Maybe. This thing does have 200,000 miles on it, so it's not like it's a, you know. Alright, we're gonna let that drip for a while. Might as well just let it drip while it's in the vehicle here. I'm gonna shut it off and then we'll do the rear drive shaft. Alright, y'all, I got her zoomed in. This other side this is the fuel tank here, so I'm not gonna be able to get, well, in fact, I just remembered I'm gonna have to turn the drive shaft. Any who's there? Let me set up this other light. I got all four wheels, mainly the rear wheels, which are important in this discussion, off the ground. But it is in park. These shouldn't be too tight. Of course, they're just holding on holding the strap onto the bearing, and of course it's usually there's Loctite on bolts like these. I do have my impact gun. I probably could zip these out a little bit. Sometimes it makes more sense just to use a wrench, but let me see if I can even reach these other ones. And I realize I'm seeping pretty bad here with my rear pinion, so I'm gonna have to probably do that while I'm in here. Not that I want to mess with that at all, but because what the difficult part with these rear pinion seals is when you're tightening this nut, you're actually setting the bearing lash or what have you into where, so you could very easily over tighten it. And there's a way to obviously tighten it just the right amount. I think it's use a torque angle gauge to where it's you know, because you're gonna end up spinning everything unless everything's on the ground. Anyway, I'm just going on and on. I'm just gonna do these by hand. I'm gonna leave that. Let me think here. I probably should unhook the battery. I don't want to have to. I'm just gonna take these the rest of the way off. Oh yeah, look at those airbags. They're toast. I finally took the fuse out of the rear. I think it's called EACS, the electronic air control system, whatever. Anyways, there's a little air compressor in the back here that airs up these airbags to leveling assist. And what always happens is the airbag rubber gets old and starts to leak, and so the compressor just runs and runs, thinking that you know, it needs air. Okay, I'm gonna go put it in gear so I can turn the other bolts toward me. I probably could get them if I want to get fancy, but it's not necessary. Let me disconnect the battery on this thing really quick. You always want to disconnect the battery when you're working on stuff. You never know when you're going to get into a situation where you're there's a hot connection you didn't know about, and you ground something out, and then suddenly you have to replace something else, you know, blah blah blah. So now I'm going to be power, so I don't have to worry about the battery. Oh, I actually can't get it out of gear. Wow, it's one of these systems. Huh. Again, I can't turn it off. Are you kidding me? Wow. That is... I do not like these systems. Now I've got to connect the battery with the key on. Damn it. What a pile, this thing. Ugh. That's exactly what I did not want to do. So I couldn't get it out of gear without being able to press the brake. What a freaking pile. Okay, now that I can't, I'm gonna have to turn it off again. It's in neutral. I can't turn the ignition off until I'm done. So let me just do this. Okay, let me get it nice and exactly where I want. Okay. Alright, boy oh boy. They went a little overboard with all this electrical stuff. I know it's nice and fancy, but sorry, my heater was about to come on. I don't want the heat to come on. Anyways, I was talking about the I hope my head's not in the way on this shot. I'm so sorry if it is, guys. I'm gonna try to stay out of the way. Okay, got that one. Okay, now let me get the fancy. Let me see here. It doesn't really matter, but I do want to put the one I took off back on. Okay, do I have an 11? I don't have an 11 millimeter with me, so I'll just get these off by hand. Okay, sometimes you just gotta do stuff by hand, that's okay. I have my quarter-inch cordless impact too I could be using down here, which I should grab that, but But yeah, guys, so much electrical stuff, you know, it's just extra wear and tear on the battery. It makes everything more costly, and I get it. It's all luxurious or whatever, but this thing is just so many electrical applications that have the opportunity to go south. And again, it's 22 years old, 200,000 miles, so it was pretty well kept. And like I said before, with the transfer case fluid, I should have changed that. That was extremely dumb for me to not change that. All right, so we're gonna go here, there. Let me grab my crowbar. Let me grab the crow. Let me grab a bar that croweth. I shall grab a bar that Okay, I'm losing my touch here. All right. I shall grab a bar that crows. Boom. That was easy. Sometimes these are a pain, or what will happen is usually the other bearing cap, or one of the bearing caps will fall off. That's what you don't want. All right, let's try to turn our operation around here. I not only have a light right behind my camera, but my phone, which is my camera, is actually plugged into the light because it's low on battery. All right, guys, let's get out to here. Well, let me see here. First, this big ass muffler is just in the way, isn't it? Can you see anything, guys? I can't even see the camera. All right, let's try that. I'll tell you what, guys, one thing that is a pain in the butt is trying to film while working on cars. It slows everything down. I'm just gonna do my best, guys, sorry. I should have zoomed in up there. That's what I should have done. I'm learning. I need to get a camera holder that has a light, like a magnetic camera holder with a light, so that way, no matter where I point it, of course, if I can get my light. All right, so there we go. Sorry, guys, for the terrible cameraing. All right, we got the drive shaft out. Of course, this weirdo thing right here. I get it. It's just like it's just kind of in the way. So next, obviously front and drive shaft. I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna do tonight. The one they're damn sure I'm gonna do tonight is spray some penetrant oil on all of the bolts on the cross member. You can see right above my toe right here, and then there's one here, one back there. There's a lot of rust under this vehicle, and I'm just a little bit, obviously I don't wanna, sometimes when I'm working late at night on this stuff, I'm too impatient and I break stuff, and I've had a string of that recently that I'm pretty disappointed with. You know, not getting enough sleep, whatever it is, but you just gotta slow down. The biggest thing on these projects, slow down. When something ain't coming out, man, just slow down. If you don't got the right tool, go get the tool. I'm telling you what, I've added at least a few $100s to this project just with my, I mean, maybe not that much, but it's just dumb stuff that causes everything to take longer. All right, screwing the U-joint bolts and straps back in the thing. This is like a 10-minute video on removing a drive shaft. It's ridiculous. So anyways, I'm gonna go back to time lapse when I can. I think what I'll do is when I'm actually ready to remove the transfer case, I'm gonna find hopefully a good spot to hold the camera and get a good angle on everything. But really all there is the front drive shaft, cross member, and then obviously the nuts that secure the transfer case onto the adapter housing, because the T-case has studs, and then electrical, and that is it. It will slide right out with no problem. And we will do that in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, I have crazy impressions, and anyhow,
Appreciate it. Peace.
All right, guys and gals, back at it, and we're going to, oops, what is that thing? We're going to get this front drive shaft removed. I'm not gonna film, I'm just gonna do snippets here. So we've got the front drive shaft off. It is tough to get it out, but what you do is obviously after you remove it, pull it back and then aim it up here, and it should give you enough clearance to pop off the back and then go further to clear the cross member. We're gonna remove the cross member, but obviously if you don't have to do that and you're just doing the front drive shaft or whatever, that's possible. We'll be able to get all of these bolts. I'm not gonna film this. We're trying to make and shake, move and shake, make it happen. And after we get this cross member loosened, all these bottom bolts, then we're gonna get a jack and jack up the T-case up off of the cross member so we can safely remove it. And then we will have access to the nuts that hold the T-case, and we will be all apart. All right, gang, we got all of our bolts loose. I tried to film Chase zipping some off, but I messed the thing up. What we have going here, like I said, I've got some tension on the T-case, and then we're gonna remove the nuts on these bolts. It's an 18 millimeter on both sides. I did spray them down the other night, so definitely recommend using some penetrant lube. And then same thing on this side. And then what we'll do is jack the T-case up to clear these the studs from the cross member, and then we'll be able to knock this cross member down out of its little sleeve, because I remember it's pretty tight in there. So and then we'll be ready to access our we're gonna remove the motor mount or the trans mount probably to gain access. I'm not sure, I haven't got a really good look at it yet, but then we'll be able to lower everything and get even better access to all the nuts around. So anyways, let's get this thing out of here. All right, guys, I had to get this evap canister loose because, of course, somebody put the bolt in to where it needed to come out this way and is running into this. It's kind of complicated, but these little clips here go basically around this part. So I had to grab a screwdriver and basically do, let me get my screwdriver here. Basically, with it in there, go right here and then do this and do it on both sides, and it'll release this, and then it basically comes loose from the front part. And then now I'll be able to get my bolt. Not sure what happened there. Anyways, this bolt can now slide out. I do have to get a little, you have to basically mess with the weight of the transfer case so you can slide the bolts out. So I'm gonna get a little punch to punch those the rest of the way through. And we'll be able to lift the T-case up and out of the cross member. As you can see, our studs there, sort of, maybe, there. And then we'll basically hammer this thing down, because again, when you tighten up these bolts, this part that goes around it sandwiches it in. So sometimes it can be sort of a pain in the butt. But, all right, guys, I'm gonna hang up and get after it. Let's do it. All right, y'all, we've got our cross member out. Sorry for the terrible camera work. Get this out of the way. Basically, I'm gonna get this motor mount or trans mount removed. I should be able to just buzz it off of here. I've got the right socket on here. Okay. Holding the camera with one hand, so I'm about to change here. 1 second, guys. Alright, so this, I've got some that. There's just, what else we got going here? How the hell does it have two of these? What is going on here? There we go. All right, and then basically just slides off of this unit here. Supposed to. Where is my hammer? Oh, well, we got something else going on. Okay, we got to get both of these off and just slide it forward. It's coming off at an angle. So let me hang up get this out of the way, and then we're going to remove all of our electrical and then unbolt this sucker, and it is ready to come out. I'm noticing this weird inner middle gasket here. That's sort of weird looking. I'm gonna probably have some transmission fluid when I separate it, so just be wary of that. I'm gonna lower it down so I can access the top. And so in the next video, you should see that, well, we probably see this out of the vehicle, because all I'm gonna do is remove this, and then I'll get my 15-inch, I think it's a 15 mil wrench, and hit all the nuts, get them loose, and then have my son come out here and just help me safely slide it off of the splines and then down to the ground. And we'll be ready to assess and regroup for installation. Alrighty. Alright guys and gals, we got the transfer case going back in it. We've already got the other one pulled. I'm not doing too much video, we're just trying to get this done. We've got the existing encoder motor bolted up. We've got a new output shaft seal and a new gasket we're gonna throw on here. Here's the gasket, classic Velcro. Let's get after it. We're gonna get this new to us T-case installed. All right, y'all, we are getting bolted up. Just doing a little update. We've got the rear jack back on the tail shaft of the T-case. I'm gonna remove this next. I just gotta jack this up a little bit after I tighten up. Well, I've already tightened up the other side. Tightening up now this driver's side thing. I'm gonna try to get the palm of my hand underneath this. Sorry guys. What happens when I try to hold the camera? Okay. Oh, it's plenty tight. Plenty tight. Remember, this does not have to be crazy tight. Sorry guys, as I look for my wrench. Everything is everywhere. Anyway, we're gonna tighten this up. I'm so sorry guys. Alright, there we go. Alright, so again, we're just nice and snug. Alright, I'm pretty confident in both of those. I'm gonna remove this jack and get this center bolt, and then we are ready to basically reinstall our cross member. Alright guys. Good with my wrench here. Where did I do it? This is absolutely ridiculous trying to roll around on here. I keep losing things. Oh, still on this. Look at that. Right there. Okay, I can hit this one a little bit. There, now I'm at a bad angle. All right, that's good. Top one's tight. I'm gonna film a little bit more of this, guys. Okay. All right, y'all, we have got the cross member bolted back up. I'll go ahead and put these bolts on this side facing that way. I still have to snap this back into place. I'm gonna have to use something to do that. Got my studs tight. All these are tight. I tightened these first, then I snugged up those. And then I just got done connecting all of our wiring. Got everything hooked up. I'm just praying that this used unit is good and I don't have to. Number one, I just need it to drive this week. If I need to put the old one back in, which I don't know why I would, but who knows? I'm just praying this thing works. I've got to add fluid, of course. I've got to put in both drive shafts. That's pretty much it. I might wait to pop this in. I guess I will, just to make sure everything's good to go. I have to remember about that. Anyways, guys, that's basically it. Drive shafts, add fluid, test out, be done, hopefully. All right, gang, we've got our front drive shaft hooked up. Got the rear hooked up. I checked the rear diff. I do need to change the fluid and do this seal next time I work on it. I'm also gonna do the transmission filter and fluid and probably do the front diff. Hoping I can get a few more months out of this and get some other thing in place for my wife and then probably sell it. It just seems like one thing after the other is going bad. But here's my setup to add fluid. I've got my auto track. I got this off Amazon, found the best deal there. And I got my pump. I ran some clean ATF through it already to sort of get anything out of there. And they had gear fluid in there before. And then we're going to add fluid and then start it up and do a test. And I am just praying that everything works great and I could be done with this, at least this phase of it. So here we go. I'm not gonna record this, but we're gonna do the final thing and then just do our double checks, make sure we didn't forget to plug anything in. And then once we test it, we still need to pop this canister back into place. So here we go. All right, y'all, I got it filled with fluid. I did a test when it was up in the air, and unfortunately the front axle was not able to engage, and I actually thought the transfer case was trash. Come to find out, it was the front end making noise, and it just wasn't able to fully engage with it up in the air. So right when I got it on the ground, everything works great. Thank the good Lord. I've not tested for low yet, but I needed this thing ready to rock and roll for tomorrow. It's 8 o'clock right now. I just got done. I've jacked up the rear end and put that evap canister back in its slot. It was kind of tough. I just used a pry bar to get the upper tab locked in, and then I was able to finagle the lower one in with the screwdriver. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. But anyways, I'm going to look at one more thing tonight. My wife's rear washer fluid on this vehicle, it isn't spraying. I'm gonna take a quick look at that. But other than that, we are done with this video. Here's the transfer case that came out of it. I'm gonna see if I can get some money for it. It's worth at least 50 bucks. As a core, I bet you it's probably worth 500. Well, maybe not 500, but you know, at least a few hundred in parts. And if I had time, I would take it apart, you know, order parts, rebuild it, but it'd probably be more costly. And then I would have to worry about finding a buyer for it, and that's just not worth it. So I'll probably offload it to somebody, hopefully get something out of it. But anyways, y'all, appreciate it. And we are back on the Subaru as soon as I can. We're basically cleaning up the block, cleaning up the cylinder head bolts, the threads inside here, and then getting the block surface cleaned up, make sure it's flat, and I'm like so excited to get my car back. It's been forever. All right, y'all, over and out. GMC Envoy. Bow.